advocating for human rights, securing justice is deeply appreciated. Today's reconvening marks a crucial step in the Commission's ongoing trajectory to investigate, understand, and address the serious challenges that have manifested in the provision of scholar transport across this province. The journey thus far has revealed profound concerns, but it has also reaffirmed our collective commitment to uphold the constitutional promise of safe, reliable, and accessible education for every learner. As we move forward, the course of today and tomorrow, we do so in the spirit of collaboration, transparency, and accountability, recognizing that the realization of learners' rights cannot be deferred, and that the solutions we forge together must be lasting and transformative. Let us proceed with the seriousness, the diligence, and the urgency that this task demands of each and every one of us. I thank you. We're now going to move over to the next item, which is the moment of silence, which will be followed by the national anthem, which I believe must be ready to be played. If it is not, it will be required of each and every one of us to sing it. Thank you so much. May we all stand. Thank you so much. We are now going to move to the next item of our program, which is the introduction of the panel and the commission team. My name is Nomahlubi Kwinana, a commissioner in the Human Rights Commission. who is responsible for the province of Northwest, but a national commissioner also for Northern Cape. I've changed my focal areas and I thought I should just mention it, even though I'm still caretaking others. I'm responsible for civil and political rights. I'm also responsible for children as well as justice. I'm still caretaking for the soon-to-be appointed commissioner on the other focal areas, which is persons with disabilities, as well as older persons. And I must just say that they are very close to my heart, but because of the voluminous work, we had to just share the responsibilities. I'm going to then move over to the provincial manager and request her to introduce herself, followed by the rest of the...
Everyone in the room, my name is Shirley Mlombo, the Provincial Manager for the Commission in the Northwest.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tsidiso Lekoma. I work as a candidate attorney for the...
I'm a legal officer for the Commission.
Morning, everyone. My name is Lindo Wuhlem Dabe. I'm the research advisor to Commissioner Quinnan.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Ngonde. I work for the Commission in the Northwest. I'm a senior legal officer. With your permission, Commissioner, can I introduce the other members of the team who cannot introduce themselves because of their positions posts they are holding. We've got Ms. Liano Modikwe, who is coordinating at the back. We have added a new member, Mr. Nelson Kesa. We also have Bud Given, who is our media liaison personnel. We also have Butchon, who's our colleague as well, who's assisting us today. We also, just for completeness of the the process, we have students from the University of South Africa who expressed their interest in participating. They were here in the last time and they are also here today. I think that would be all the members, unless I have left someone else. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. May we also just introduce our language operators, if you've got their names, or they can come to the mic. I always believe that it's important that their voices are amplified, which is something that we always forget.
Good morning. My name is Mamel Lomaleke, a South African salary.
Thank you so much. So today, the subjects surrounding scholar transport in 2 of the Constitution, the Commission needs steps to secure redress where violations are found to have manifested. In support of this mandate, Section 15, subsection 1B of the South African Human Rights Commission Act 40 of 2013 empowers the Commission to require any person to provide particulars and information reasonably necessary for the purpose of investigation. Moreover, under Chapter 8 of the Complaints Handling Procedure, the Commission may convene hearings to gather information critical to the fulfillment of our constitutional obligations. The inquiry follows a clear trajectory to confront and understand the many challenges that continue to plague the provision of learner transport, especially in our rural and historically marginalized communities. For too long, learners have been subjected to unsafe, unreliable, and inadequate transport services, undermining not only their right to basic education, but also their dignity, their safety, and their prospects for a better future. The challenges are not abstract. They are daily manifestations that resonate deeply with the lived experiences of our children. During the initial phase of this inquiry, the Commission had extensive oral and written submissions from a broad range of stakeholders. These submissions illuminated both the scale of the problem and the inadequacies in the state's response thus far. Yet, due to the sheer weight of the evidence and the time constraints faced, it became necessary to adjourn and reconvene, ensuring that no voice and no critical testimony would be left unheard. Over today and tomorrow, we'll continue this journey. The Commission will hear further evidence from the Northwest Department of Community Safety and Transport Management, COSATMA, the member of the Executive Council for Basic Education, civil society organizations, and transport service providers. I must also add who were the subject of significant criticism in earlier sessions. Their testimony will be vital. The evidence gathered will be culminated in comprehensive investigative report with findings and recommendations aimed squarely at securing safe, reliable, and accessible learner transport across the province. The objectives of this inquiry are ambitious, but they are necessary. Firstly, it is to assess the scale and the extent of the challenges that afflict scholar transport services in the Northwest Province, to probe the root causes that have given rise to these persistent failures, to evaluate the adequacy or lack thereof of existing measures intended to address these challenges, to scrutinize the laws, policies, and regulatory frameworks that govern scholar transport and identify where they fall short, to examine with care and urgency the impact these failures have on learners' constitutional rights, on their access to education, on their personal safety, on their overall well-being. And finally, to set forth additional concrete measures to ensure that scholar transport in the Northwest Province is not a privilege for a few, but a guaranteed right for every child in the province. We undertake this work because it is our duty, but also because the hopes, the dreams, and the futures of countless young people demand nothing less. I thank you. We are now going to move over to the item on recapping from the previous sitting, which is going to be done by our provincial manager. Ms. Mlombo, over to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Indeed, we had a first sitting of the inquiry from 11 March to 13 March 2025. During that sitting, we heard extensive evidence from members of the public, civil society organizations in the province, as well as the three respective departments, which is the Department of Education through the HOD, the Department of COSATMA, hearing from both the HOD and the MEC, as well as the Department of Treasury, where we receive evidence from the HOD. The specific people that we heard evidence from, which shared different perspectives on the scholar transport challenges in the Northwest. We started with the evidence of Mr. Albert Dazuka, who gave evidence on his experience of monitoring schools in the province, during which various challenges relating to scholar transport were reported by various schools that he visited, which included issues of overcrowding in scholar transportation, issues of bullying of learners who are in transit on scholar transport. We then heard from Mr. Offense Khaitate, who also gave evidence about scholar challenges in his community, but his focus was more on the conduct of private scholar transport providers and the seeming lack of regulations to ensure that overcrowding. Evidence from Honorable Freddie Sonagile, member, on transport at the time of the evidence, where he also gave extensive evidence and also the challenges that as a committee they've had in ensuring accountability by responsible departments. We then, of course, heard from the Northwest Treasury on their constitutional role and the legislative role of oversight over the use of resources in the province. They also gave evidence of an investigation that was done in 2019, which really uncovered a lot of challenges within scholar transport provision in the province, which included challenges with overpricing of scholar transport payment rate, resulting in diminishing of resources available for scholar transport. We also heard from NAPTOSA as well as SATU, who are the trade unions within the education sector, where they also narrated the reports they are receiving from their members relating to scholar transport challenges in the province and the efforts that they've made to engage with the Department of Education to escalate these challenges. And there was also evidence given by NAPTOSA in particular regarding the challenge of scholar transport. So they did raise then the challenges that members have on the ground to ensure that the learners are transported in safe and reliable transport. We also then heard from a civil society organization, I believe it was, it's not COSAS, SANCO as well, which is a community-based organization, and they gave evidence from the ground, from the perspective of communities, and how consequence. We then also heard from the HOD of the Department of Education, and where he gave evidence on the department's perspective as well on the scholar transport challenges in the Northwest, and really the crux of the initial evidence that he was giving was that really the challenges are a COSATMA issue for the most part as the implementing agent, but there were extensive discussions around that and where the department should be locating itself insofar as the applicable constitutional provisions are concerned, the legislative provisions as well as the policy, and even in terms of the agreement entered into between the department and COSATMA, which indicated for all intents and purposes that this was a joint responsibility and obligation between the different stakeholders. There was also extensive engagement around specific incidents of where scholar transport impacted on learners' rights of access to education, including the impact on learners who were left without transport at Pakedi School for a prolonged period of time. There was also extensive discussions around the impact of the department's rationalization policy and the increased demand for scholar transport in the province, amongst other issues that we canvassed. Also, we did receive the preliminary presentation from the MEC as well as the HOD of COSATMA on the last occasion, but due to time limitations, we're not able to engage on that presentation. And really the purpose of today's proceedings is to then probe and engage with the Department of COSATMA further on that presentation. Commissioner, I think this is just in a nutshell the proceedings of the last sitting. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, PM. We are now going to move over to the inquiry procedure, which is informed by Section 15 of the South African Human Rights Commission Act, which I'm going to read into the record. And it reads as follows. Subsection 1, pursuant to the provisions of Section 13, subsection 3 of the Commission, may, in order to enable it to exercise its powers and perform its functions, A, conduct or cause to be conducted an investigation that is necessary for that purpose. B, through a commissioner or a member of staff duly authorized by the commissioner, require from any person such particulars and information as may be reasonably necessary in connection with any investigation. C, require any person by notice in writing under the hand of a commissioner addressed and delivered by a member of a staff or a sheriff in relation to an investigation to appear before it at a time and place specified in such a notice and to produce to it all articles or documents in possession or custody or under the control of any such person and which may be necessary in connection with that investigation, provided that such notice must contain the reasons why such person's presence is needed and why any such article or document should be produced. D, through a commissioner, administer an oath to or take affirmation from any person referred to in paragraph C or any person present at the place referred to in that paragraph, irrespective of whether or not such person has been required under the said paragraph to appear before it and question him or her under oath or affirmation in connection with any matter which may be necessary in connection with that investigation. Subsection 2A, any person questioned under subsection 1 must, subject to the provisions of paragraph B and subsection 3 and 4, Roman figure 1, be competent and compelled to answer all questions put to him or her regarding any fact or matter connected with the investigation of the commission, notwithstanding that the answer may incriminate him or her, and Roman figure 2, be compelled to produce to the commission any article or document in his or her possession or custody or under his or her control which may be necessary in connection with that investigation. B, any person referred to in paragraph A is only competent and compelled to answer a question or compelled to produce any article or document contemplated in that paragraph if, Roman figure 1, the commission issues an order to that effect. Roman figure 2, the commission is satisfied that to require such information from such person is reasonable, necessary, and justifiable in an open and democratic society based on freedom and equality. And Roman figure 3, in the Commission's judgment, such person has refused or is likely to refuse to answer a question or to produce any article or document on the basis of his or her privilege against self-incrimination. 3, A, any incriminating answer or information obtained or incriminating evidence directly or indirectly derived from a questioning in terms of subsection 1 is not admissible as evidence against the person concerned in criminal proceedings in a court of law or before any body or institution established by or under any law, except in criminal proceedings where the person stands trial on a charge of perjury or charge contemplated in Section 22B of this Act or in Section 319, subsection 3 of the Criminal Procedure Act 1955, Act 55 of 1955, B, subject to the provisions of subsection 2A, Roman figure 1, the law regarding privilege as applicable to a witness summoned to give evidence in criminal case in a court of law applies in relation to the questioning of the person in terms of subsection 1, subsection 4, any person appearing before the Commission by virtue of the provisions of subsection 1, C, and D may be assisted at such examination by a legal representative and is entitled to peruse such of the documents referred to in subsection 1C or any other relevant documents. 5, if it appears to the Commission during the course of the investigation that any person is being implicated in the matter being investigated, the Commission must afford such person an opportunity to be heard in connection therewith by way of giving evidence or making submissions, and such person or his or her legal representative is entitled through the Commission to question other witnesses determined by the Commission who have appeared before the Commission in terms of this section. 6, subject to the provisions of this Act, the procedure to be followed in conducting an investigation must be determined by the Commission with due regard to the circumstances of each case. 7, the Commission must make known publicly the particulars of the procedure, which is just determined in terms of subsection 6. 8, if it is in the interest of justice or if harm to any person might otherwise ensue, the Commission or the Commissioner may direct that any person or category of persons or all persons, the presence of whom is not desirable, may not be present at the proceedings during the investigation or any part thereof. 9, notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in any law, no person may disclose to any other person the contents of any document in possession of a commissioner or a member of staff or record of evidence given before the Commission during an investigation unless the Commission determines otherwise. I hope that is well understood, but of course, Google is very kind. I'm sure if you're able to Google the Act, you'll still be able to see it for yourself. And just to ensure that you are in the know of what is expected of you. We are now going to move over to the next item of our agenda, which is further presentation by the HOD of COSATMA. And before we do that, from the team, PM. You don't have anything further at this point? There's no preliminary issues? I can move over to allowing the oath or the affirmation to be taken.
Few issues from my side, Commissioner. Just for completeness of record, when the meeting adjourned previously, a couple of letters were sent to the witnesses that took stand and testified before this commission or this hearing. Follow-up letters were sent to Naptosa, Satu, the Honorable Sonagile, Mr. Haitati, Mr. Tazuga, the Treasury, the Department of Education, COSATMA, and the MEC for education. We have received responses which has then led to us compiling a second bundle which we have shared in the witness table. We can state that those that have not sent, we've sent follow-ups, which is SATU and Naptosa. Mr. Haitati requested an extension because he was supposed to provide a video of a learner who was sitting on a lap of a driver. He requested a further time to compile that. We can also confirm as well that we received information from Treasury, which are also part of the second bundle. We received further submission from the HOD's office, which we also incorporated in the second bundle. We also received a couple of letters from the MEC of Education, one of them which is a response to the initial notice that was sent, but those that pertains to the MEC, we will transact them when the MEC is due to take stand, but we can also confirm that she was also then subsequently subpoenaed to appear in these proceedings, which are also part of the PEC. Lastly, Commissioner, when we adjourned, or the sitting was adjourned, the MEC for COSATMA, Mr. Vessels, was also under oath with the HOD. And today, unfortunately, he is not, his office and the office of the HOD reached out to the commission, would cause him to be absent today. And through the commissioner's office, such request was entertained, was considered, and it was granted. And a further date for him to appear was then communicated to his office through a letter dated the 15th of April 2025, indicating that he must appear on the 14th. It would still take place just to iron out any issues that may be outstanding. From our side, Commissioner, those are the preliminary issues pertaining to this part of the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We'll then move over to the HOD to find out if they are ready to proceed. From COSATMA.
Good morning, Commissioner and Commissioners, MEC Mutsumi and colleagues and stakeholders present. We are ready to proceed, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May we then have the first witness to stand?
Commissioner,
Thank you so much. May you please state your full names for the record,
I'm Dr. Hans Kekana.
your age,
I'm 53.
your position
I'm the head
in
of department for the Department of Community Safety and Transport Management in the Northwest, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. Any objection taking the prescribed oath?
No objection, Commissioner.
Do you swear that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth? If that is so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you so much. You may take your seat. Is it the oath or the affirmation?
Affirmation, Commissioner.
Thank you. Your full names, please.
Paul Charlotte Randona,
Your age,
44.
your position in the department,
I'm the Acting Chief Director responsible for Program 3, which is Transport Operation. Substantively, I'm the Provincial Secretariat for Police Services.
Do you have any objection in taking the affirmation?
No, Commissioner.
Do you regard same to binding on your conscience?
I do, Commissioner.
Do you swear that, or rather do you affirm that the evidence you're going to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth? If that is so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me." So
I affirm.
I affirm.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Apologies for that. Thank you so much. We'll then move over to the team. I don't know who's going to start, and to then find out from yourselves, is it at the point where they proceed still with their presentation, or you are ready with the questions?
Thank you very much, Commissioner. The last time we were here, I believe that they spoke to all the responses that they sent to the Commission relating to this. But to be fair to the department, if they've got, I understand that they also wrote to us last week Friday submitting their additional information, which we will deal with. But if there's any information that may have been left previously, I would suggest and request that they be given that opportunity to address, and then we will take it from there going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May I then find out from the HOD and the chief if there's any further submissions that you would like to make before questions are posed to yourselves?
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, no, we don't have anything further, except that on procedural matters, when Mr. Nkonde was presenting the MEC's apologies and responses, I thought he was going to complete the last part that they've given the MEC a new date, to which we also responded in writing that on that new date also the MEC is also not available because he's presenting a budget speech. So I thought he was just going to complete that line. But I heard him saying the letter has been received, but I wanted to put it on record as well. Thanks.
Well, it's safe to say that he has been given grace until a certain period, and it cannot extend further. And the date remains. We are now going to move over to the team. Mr. Nkonde, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Commissioner. I understand where the HOD is coming from. And I think maybe the last part I was cryptic in responding to the issue of the 14th, but because I don't take those decisions. It's the decision of the chairperson that would. Yeah. Otherwise, are you well, HOD, today?
Very well.
And your
thank you.
team?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Like we said previously, we will handle different sections of the questioning today. I will mainly deal with the issues of the SLO. Mr. Mtabe, SLA. Mr. Mtabe will deal with the issues of legal obligation. My colleagues will also come in to mop up and clean up on other issues that may arise. And I also need to also maybe complete the first part that we received we received 2 anonymous submissions which are part of the pack, and we would be also posing questions based on those, just so that I don't catch you by surprise, because I did not mention them as I was doing the preliminary issues. From my side, Commissioner, the first question would be the SLA. HOD, is it safe then for one to make an assumption that the SLA is more of a Bible between yourselves as the department, a guiding document between yourselves and the service providers, particularly on the scholar transport?
Correct, Commissioner. It is the agreement between the 2 parties. Thank you.
Can I just ask a question from the technical team? Is it okay? Can the mics work? Can the 2 mics operate while the other one is there? Okay. Okay. No, it's okay then. Thank you very much, because the switching on and off was going to throw us off. So since your response says it is a guiding or more of a Bible, is there a dedicated team in your office, HOD, that is dealing with contract management for service providers?
Yes, Commissioner, we have a contract management unit within our supply chain that deals with all service providers. Thank you. And it's supported by our legal directorate as well.
Okay. So the question is, or if I may understand you well, you don't have a dedicated team that deals specifically with Program 3?
No, we have a contract management for the entire department, but we have a team. In each program, there will be a team dealing specifically with issues that are related to that particular program. In this case, for scholar transport, we've got colleagues that are working with the team that deals with scholar transport-related matters coming from contract management.
Okay. Then, with this program, I'll call it Program 3 because that's how you define it in terms of your documents. What are the reporting procedures when there are transgressions in the SLO, or if there are any, not necessarily even transgressions, if there are any updates that are needed, what are the procedural issues that must be undertaken within the department after monitoring?
No, thank you, Commissioner. We've got teams that deal with daily operational related matters on Scholar. So the reporting mechanisms is through the program manager sitting next to me and the chief director, who's got the director responsible for transport operations, and the director has got deputy directors responsible for transport operations, specifically for Scholar transport in this case. And the layer goes down to those that receives invoices, processing, and all that. So there's a whole chain of command in that regard. Thanks.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Then let's talk about the team. I'm glad the leader is here that deals with this SLA. How far is the ground person from the office of the acting chief director? I mean, who's operating and or dealing with the day-to-day complaints of the SLA? I mean,
How
let me
far in
put-
terms of location or?
how quick is the information from the ground escalated to the office of the acting chief director?
You want to come through?
Thank you very much, Commissioner Chairperson. We have two methods of communication that we do on a day-to-day basis. We have created a WhatsApp group where if something happens, it has to reach us as soon as possible. So we do have that WhatsApp group where we communicate as and when it's required. Two, we have what we call the war room. That we established into the boardroom. So there are always people in the boardroom that are dealing with the issues at hand. We also have created a call center, sort of a setup, where even operators and everybody else can just call in and get the information that we need. So the quickest one for us is a WhatsApp group where everyone, even an assistant officer is in that group. Is people that are always on the ground. So if there's anything, they will just pop a message into the group. And what we did is we told them that if you see that we are not maybe answering on time, just call any of us so that we are able to attend to issues as soon as possible.